rejection does not define your worth. You have overcome plenty of challenges in your life, and dating is no freaking different. You're not damaged good. You don't have too much baggage. Your experiences and what you've been through have shaped you, and there's something that add to your strength and your wisdom, and I want you to own that. I am whole and worthy of love exactly as I am. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Wellness Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Amber Shaw, and I cannot wait to dive into today's topic with you guys. You know, one of the things that I hear a lot from women in midlife that are just navigating post-divorce life, or even just, navigating getting back out into the scene, is dating in midlife. You know, dating, just whether or not you're midlife or not, it can be exciting and it can also be super freaking daunting. You know, I'll never forget just when I was first out on the dating scene post-divorce. I mean, it's a whole new freaking world, you know, especially if you're somebody who's been, you know, with your, if you are somebody that's coming out of divorce and you've been with your partner for a long time. I mean, it's just, when I was dating back in my 20s, like, we just didn't have all this social media stuff and dating apps and all the things, right? And so it's really freaking scary. And that's just actually one piece of it. I mean, and so what I want to do in today's episode is, first of all, I want to normalize any fears and doubts that you have about dating. You know, but the truth is that just because the idea of dating feels scary, it doesn't mean that you're not ready. And it's always going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? And sometimes, as we know, like, fear is actually a super powerful indicator that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? And that you're in a space for personal growth. Now, I will just say one little sidebar to that, though, is there is some truth, though, and I've spoke about this a lot in other episodes, of also giving yourself some time to just be by yourself and fall really in love with being on your own, so that you are less inclined to put up with bullshit from future relationships, right? You got to love yourself so much that dating somebody is really just an added, like a benefit, and you know that you'll be fine either way. I shared this in a previous episode where one of my biggest mistakes was that I jumped to dating too quickly. And I was still too broken and beat down and not really stepping into my, and owning my self-worth. And so I put up with a lot of BS that I shouldn't have, and found myself in some relationships post-divorce that really didn't serve me. And it's because I didn't take the time to myself. So that's, I just want to add that little footnote in there, right? That little asterisk. Okay. I want to make sure we're on the same page there. But today I'm going to share with you guys the 5 most common most common dating fears that women face in midlife, and really how you can overcome them so that you can build a life of confidence and empowerment and excitement in this next chapter. So let's just dive into this first one. And this is a big one for anybody. I don't care how old you are, this is a huge one. And that is overcoming the fear of rejection. You know, I don't care who you are, what you look like, what your accolades are, what your achievements are, what you've been through. I don't care any of that. Fear of rejection is a fear I think that everybody has, regardless of your age, experience, all of it. It's really just part of being human. And so, but what I want to normalize is that when you are dating in midlife, I want to just normalize and recognize that fear of rejection can feel pretty damn intense, especially, if you came out of a marriage that was really traumatic, or that you maybe there was some infidelity there. And that, I mean, to me, that is like the ultimate form of rejection, right? Is when infidelity, like on the subconscious level, when infidelity happens. And so, if you've been hurt in the past, having your guard up as you head back out into the dating scene, and having that like fear of rejection, and really not wanting to put yourself out there because you just feel like you are emotionally so fragile that you can't really fathom being rejected. That feeling, number one, it's normal. Number two, but it can make you really just stay on the sidelines and not put you out there. And what I really want you to hear is that rejection does not define your worth. God, this is something for me that I have really, really had to overcome and really believe in the mantra, like just because I'm rejected, right? Or somebody doesn't want to continue with me or they're not interested in me, that is not a reflection of my worth. That has nothing to do with me. It just means we're not a match. And I have really gotten good at not taking it so damn personal and really having that reframe that rejection is just a process of finding the right connection. And that every no just brings you closer to a yes. And I've also learned in dating in midlife that every experience offers a lesson. What I have learned to acknowledge and accept is that it teaches me with every no, that teaches me what I'm a yes for and what I'm a no for. And I just want you to really remember, like, girl, you have overcome plenty of challenges in your life, and dating is no freaking different. So I want you to step into dating with that resilience and that the understanding that not every connection is meant to be. And that is okay, right? That's okay. Again, I'll say it again because I want you to hear me. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's just bringing you closer to what you want. It's bringing you closer to what you're meant for, who you're meant for, right? So I just want you to adopt the mantra, #thank you next, #thank you next, right? And just remember, rejection is not about me, it's about compatibility. All right, that's a mantra you can just, or an affirmation you could just slap on your mirror, okay? The second one that I want to share with you is this fear of vulnerability. I mean, let's be honest, vulnerability, that can be terrifying, right? Like the idea of opening up to someone new, especially if you've been hurt or you've had your guard up for a long time, like girl, that can make you retreat with a quickness, right? That can make your stomach go ill. And that's because sometimes we fear putting ourselves out there that we may be judged, right? We may be misunderstood, maybe taken advantage of. I got to tell you, I'm 5 years post-divorce, and I still have a fear of vulnerability and putting myself out there because I've been through so much. You know, I don't share a lot of the personal details of my marriage and what led to the ending, but I've been through a lot. And so for me, like putting myself back out there again, God, it's scary. I mean, and in the beginning, I definitely do have a little bit of a guard up. In fact, I've been guilty in the past though, and this is another thing that you have to watch out for and this is where like knowing your love, not your love languages, knowing your attachment styles is going to be huge as you enter into the dating world. In fact, I think a requirement that every woman coming out of divorce, entering back into the dating scene should be required to read the book Attached before she's allowed to get on any apps. I'm just saying. You learn so much about your own attachment style and then being able to identify others' attachment style. But what I was going to say is I know for me that because I have my guard up and because I do have that fear of being vulnerable when I happen to meet somebody that completely love bombs me and makes me feel overly safe, then I can get attached too quickly. And that's not good either, right? And so that fear of vulnerability, like again, it's normal, but it's just something to be aware with. I mean, it's something to be aware of. And I think that when it comes to overcoming vulnerability, number one, it just takes practice, right? Like just getting the reps in, even going out on a date, that maybe that you don't know how you feel about that person yet, but just maybe going out just to get your feet wet again, right? But it's all what that also means though is taking it slow because vulnerability really is that bridge to authentic connection with somebody. And so you really want to approach dating with openness, right? But you just don't want to go too fast. There's no need to like rush into sharing your deepest and darkest feelings right away. And in fact, I am a big believer in just being authentic in a conversation and seeing how it goes. And if it feels appropriate and it feels comfortable for you to share something, well, then just share it. And if it's too much for the other person, well, then it's too much and that's on them, right? Like I'm a big believer in that. But I'm also a big believer in just, you don't have to tell somebody your life story the first time you go out with them. And in fact, I think like keep them wanting a little bit more, right? It's okay to like take your time getting to know somebody and letting them get to know you. You don't have to put all your cards on the table on that first date, right? So go slow. Because what I have learned is that when you go slow and you build that trust with somebody, you gradually start to let your guard down and the trust builds. So that does take time, right? That does take time. So, I just really want you, this is where I'm such a believer and just really, getting back to your own gut feeling, your own intuition, like, and really listening to yourself, because I really want you to start to trust yourself that you will know when somebody is worthy of vulnerability, like you will know. All right. So I want you to really adopt the affirmation, being vulnerable is my strength. It's not a weakness, right? It's not a weakness. Number 3, I really want you to overcome this fear of not being good enough and feeling like damaged goods. Ooh, girl, I talk a lot about this one. And again, let me just tell you, this is just so you guys know how I run all my episodes. Do you guys know how I come up with these lists, these 5 things, 7 things, 3 things, blah, blah. Girl, because this is what I lived. I had these fears, right? And so I'm just really just sharing with you kind of what I went through, because I know these are so common for so many women, especially because every time I talk about these on social media, women are always like, oh my God, yes, that's me, right? And so, this was for me, my God, getting out into the dating pool at 40 years old. I mean, you talk about, I already, my whole life have struggled with not feeling good enough, feeling like I'm damaged goods. And then I came out of something as traumatic as my divorce was. And now I really feel, down on myself and not good enough and thinking, who's going to want me? Right? Who's going to want me at this age? And especially like, after experiencing a painful breakup or a divorce or like a difficult transition in your life, that fear of being seen as damaged goods or not good enough, it's paralyzing for women. It's enough to not want to put yourself out there. And you might think like, why? I've got too much baggage. Why would anybody, want me? Right. And let me tell you what about this whole, like, I've got too much baggage lie you may tell yourself, girl. Everybody's got baggage. I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, listen, what I've learned at this age, at the age of 40, well, shit, I'm almost 46 now. What am I talking about? At the age, that's wishful thinking. We've been talking all this 40 talk. Girl, no. Okay, at the age of almost 46, what I have learned is that everybody has baggage. Everybody has baggage. And I've learned that. And people are who they are. That's what I've learned at this age. And so it's not about meeting somebody that doesn't have baggage. I've just learned that it's because I have baggage. We all have it, right? We've all been through stuff. It's about meeting somebody that you are willing and wanting to take on their baggage too. Because when you get into a relationship with somebody, especially at this age in midlife, yeah, you're taking on their baggage. You're taking on their ex-wife. You're taking on maybe even their kids. You're taking on their triggers. You're taking on their pain and past experiences and same for them that they're taking on for us, right? And so I think that it is about learning and for somebody that you really want to invest in, learning what that baggage looks like. Right? Learning what those triggers look like for them, and then really deciding for you, is that something that you want in your life? And it's your prerogative. And it doesn't make that person wrong or bad or whatever. And then I think the other thing too, though, is yes, we all have baggage, but what kind of work have they done to heal? right? To work through that baggage. I mean, that for me, I'm like, I always say too, I'm like, one of my prerequisites for dating is whether or not that person's been to therapy. Like they don't necessarily have to be actively going to therapy, like right at the moment if they've been, but like they better have damn well have seen a therapist in the past, okay? Because it's real, that's for me, that's non-negotiable. I want somebody that's committed to growth, and we all have baggage, right? So, okay, that's my sidebar on baggage, but I just want you to know, I want you to let that go. Right? Like what we really want you to own, you're not damaged goods. You're not, you don't have too much baggage. Your experiences and what you've been through have shaped you. And there's something that add to your strength and your wisdom. And I want you to own that. You're not less worthy because of your past. You are more capable of love and connection because of that. Because I'm guessing at midlife and for what you've been through, you're probably way more clear now on what you're a yes for and what you're a no for. And if you're not, I want you to spend some time getting clear on that. But it does not make you damaged goods at all. And I got to tell you, what I really want you to know is that when the person that's meant for you, that right partner comes along, the right person for you will appreciate your journey, admire your resilience, and fiercely protect the things that trigger you. I really, really, really want you to know that. And if you are with somebody or you're starting to date somebody that doesn't and understands what you've been through, but continues to poke the bear and do things that, that do trigger you and that are very difficult for you, then they may not be the person for you. They will see your past as not a burden, but as it's something that makes you uniquely you. So I want you to repeat after me. I am whole and worthy of love exactly as I am. I am whole and worthy of love exactly as I am. All right, you guys, I have a couple more for you that I want to share. The next one is the fear that there's not anyone out there for you. Oof, this is a big one. One of the biggest fears I hear from a lot of the women I connect with on social media is I fear that I'm going to be alone forever, that there is nobody out there for me. And I know on a rational level, you probably know that that's not true. I mean, how many billions of people are there in this world? I think we know this on a rational level, right? We know this on a rational level. But our subconscious, and definitely due to deep wounds and our programming of maybe not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, all of these things can keep that lie still alive in our brain. And so it is normal. I just want you to know that. But you also may think that, just because the dating, that we're older, that the dating pool has shrunk, or, everybody worth it is has already been married, or they're paired off, or they're too effed up, and that's why they're single. Girl, that's just all lies you're telling yourself. And it's just, that is a fear that is going to keep you single, honestly. And so, I really just want you to own and just know that there are plenty of people out there for you. Yes, it may take a little time. You got to kiss a lot of frogs before you get that prince again. That is true. My mom and I laugh about that all the time. But I got to tell you, so many people find more fulfilling relationships in midlife because they are clear on exactly who they are and exactly what they want. And so it is so important that you shift your mindset from this place of scarcity to this place of abundance. I talk about this all the time, that when you have that mindset, remember, it is a choice to look at the glass half empty or half full. That is a choice. But when you can shift to that mindset of abundance, you see the opportunities in front of you. Because if you walk around all the time with the mindset that there's no one out there for you, then guess what? There's going to be no one out there for you. That's it. That is true. So I just want you, and I want to encourage you to stop focusing on whether or not there's anyone left, and just focus on making meaningful connections, making friends, right? Just a lot of times the best relationship starts from friendships, right? And just remember, you only need one person that aligns with your values, which you want out of life, right? Your desires. So I just want you to stay open. I want you to stay curious. And let go of this pressure of trying to find somebody immediately. So your affirmation for today is There are endless possibilities for love and connection at any stage in life. There are endless possibilities for love and connection at any stage in life. All right, the last one that I want to share with you is this fear of wasting time. Oh, I know this one. God, I say this one all the time. Like, I don't want to waste my time with da-da-da-da-da. And I've really tried to like move away from that, because I know that even though at our stage in life and how busy we are, especially if you're a single mom and you're doing the damn thing and you're working, you don't have time to mess around. Like, I mean, this is why, I'll be honest, this is why I'm not a very good multitasker dating multiple people at the same time. Because I just say, I don't have time for that shit. I just don't have time for that. But I think that, it is normal that our time feels very precious. And I think that this big fear of like wasting your time with the wrong person, it can feel overwhelming, right? We can kind of go to this place of, well, I don't want to invest in somebody just to find out that they're not a good fit, right? I don't want to waste my time. And so how do you start to overcome that, right? How do you start to let that go? I think the biggest thing is that we have to have a reframe on the way that we look at dating, right? Dating's not like a race. It's not a race, and you're not wasting your time with anybody, because I really want you to have this reframe that it really is dating is a great opportunity. Again, like I already said, to get clear on what you're a yes for and what you're a no for. But it's really such a killer opportunity to learn about yourself. Right? God, I look at like when I first started dating after divorce and like versus where I am now, I am in a wildly different place. And it's because I learned so much about myself in those relationships, especially early on post-divorce. Some of it what I learned like quite shocked me. I didn't realize that I had a lot of relationship patterns that I needed to heal. It also forced me to really look at the way I show up in relationships, especially getting to know new people. And so I just want you to really lean into the fact that every date, every connection you make, whether or not it lasts or not, right? It teaches you something valuable, right? And so I really just want you to focus on the experience and not just the outcome. Right? And just by asking yourself simple questions like, okay, well, did I even enjoy that? Did I enjoy the process? Did I learn something new about myself? Did I learn, oh, I liked that I liked that about that guy or that woman or whatever it is, whatever your preference is. I like that about that person, but I didn't like that. And I'm going to tell you what, like next time, I know like that's a flag for me. Like that's not something I want in a relationship moving forward. That is how you start to have this reframe of looking at it with curiosity and looking at it what can you learn from it? And so I really want you to adopt the affirmation of I trust the timing of my life and I enjoy the journey. I know that's easier said than done, so that's why you're just going to have to repeat that one over and over again until your subconscious catches up with your conscious. But that is such a beautiful reminder that you are leaning in, that you realize that the timing of your life is not, you don't control that, right? Even though we want to, we work so hard to do that. Sometimes we just have to surrender. And I always say to myself, like, everything's working out exactly the way it should. Everything's working out exactly the way it should. So that for me, my beauties, are the 5 fears that I really want you to be aware of and recognize. And just know that at the end of the day, like dating in midlife and dating really whenever, it's about growth. Right? It's about self-discovery. It's about connection. It's an opportunity to meet new people and explore new possibilities. But it's also, and most importantly, it's an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Right? And so by you just simply even acknowledging and overcoming these fears, you're going to be able to step into the dating world with way more confidence than I had, openness and excitement for what lies ahead. So I really want to invite you to say your homework, right? Your homework, I really just want to encourage you to take that first step, whether or not that is creating that online profile, or maybe it's just saying yes to a coffee date, right? Or maybe it's just even not even taking that first step yet. Maybe it's even just leaning into the affirmations I shared with you today and reminding yourself that you are worthy of love and connection, right? You are worthy of love and connection. Because remember, fear is a normal part of this journey, but it does not have to stop you from finding the love and the happiness that you deserve. So, girl, I want you to get out there. I want you to embrace this next chapter with grace and confidence.